Forget about it. One of the primary survival techniques of many people is denial, willful ignorance, avidya. This is normal. Hurting people is normal. If you think of cultures based on slavery and genocide and war, living in a country that, say, has been at war, something like 90-something% of the entire time it's been a country, hurting people is normal. Mass shootings are normal. School shootings are normal. Saying mean things to people because it's funny is normal. And I come from that. The idea that you can listen to somebody singing just because they're alone playing and they can enjoy singing, and you can tell them to keep their day job because they're a terrible singer. That's just cruelty. It's normal. Knowing somebody that's into organic gardening and has made a life of it for 30 years, telling them to just put pesticide on their kale, it's cruel and it's normal. It hurts them. You think it's funny. You think it's funny that it hurts them. Telling somebody they have a stain on their shirt so they get all stressed out, trying to figure out how to clean it. It's normal. It's fine. It's funny to watch them all get all worked up and stressed out, right? Etc. Raping and pillaging the earth is normal. Slave labor of children in third world countries is normal. That's a nice pair of shoes you got for $20. Too bad a whole bunch of people had to spend their entire lives as slaves for you to get that cheap pair of shoes. Where does the willful ignorance come from? Well, it hurts to hurt people. It hurts to be cruel. It hurts to take joy in other people's misery. But when you've been raised that that's normal, all of your impulses of shame, guilt, there's a Buddhist teaching, and I don't remember the Pali words for it, about all wholesome qualities feel good except shame, and that shame is a wholesome quality. Now, when I first started Buddhism, I found the word wholesome triggering, and I certainly found this teaching triggering, that shame is a wholesome quality. I grew up Catholic, and I'm like, fuck that. But if you hurt people and you witness the suffering you cause and you take joy in it, there is a part of you, because I think that everyone's a good person. I think everyone wants to be happy and wants, I think everybody has the capability of love. I think everybody knows somewhere what love is. Even if they've willfully forgotten it and covered it with piles of shit. But when you hurt someone, when you side with hatred and cruelty, you have a natural shame impulse, and it doesn't feel good. So, like the pain in your shoulders and neck and back and legs and butt and spine and arms and fingers and joints, if you're like above your mid-20s, you just fade it into the background. You willfully ignore it because you got to get through the day. You've got to get from point A to point B. You You got to get up and get things done. You got to go to work. And it's normal, really. I mean, it's how everybody else acts. If you were raised saying cruel things about people and talking about raping women because you can, because you're a stronger man, beating up faggots because you're a stronger man, like, that's normal. Guys talk about it. It's just locker room talk. It's just guys being guys. It's just boys being boys if they do what they know they're not supposed to do. It's normal. So if you were trained to do that, then you have a double shame. You have the shame of knowing that you've hurt someone and that you're being a bad person. You are being a force of bad in the world. But because it's normal, you don't want to be ostracized from society by calling other people out for pretending that slavery is bad, yet upholding it at Walmart or countless other stores, Amazon, whatever. You don't want to call people out for violence and misogyny and sexism and all these things. You want to be included. But you have to deny the shame of the pain you're causing, which causes blind spots, which causes you have to willfully be like, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to know that. It's just like, your body hurts, or I'm eating terrible food and it's making me feel bloated and heavy and stupid. But it's normal. It's normal to eat at White Castle and Arby's and McDonald's. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with that, except that it makes you feel like shit. So you have to ignore what you feel like. Being incredibly stressed out all the time, working a job to get that next paycheck so you can get that car and you can get that house and you can go on that vacation, and working a job you hate, you just have to fade that into the background. You have to be like, no, tuck it in, put it away. But a lifetime of doing this trains you to not be present, to not show up, to not feel what's really happening. And that's normal. And it's okay. But if you look at the world and you accept that it's fucked up, if you say, this is not an ideal situation, it's okay. Everything is undoubtedly unfolding exactly as it should. But if I am a being that has any free will, do I want to be a part of that which is causing pain and suffering? Or do I want to be something else? And what would that even look like? Where do I start? How can I be a member of society and not think it's okay to hurt people, to mock people, to ridicule and intimidate and antagonize because it's fun? It's just a joke. Come on, don't be so sensitive. It's very common magic, and I understand that it's useful to forget about it. I have found it useful to forget the reasons that I hated people, the reasons I hated myself. Maybe that's not entirely the correct expression. I found it useful to forget that which triggered me about those occurrences, that which the emotional architecture I had built around those occurrences, I found it useful to forget, to let go of, to let it pass away. So hey, I understand the use of that magic. what is past, but I do feel like when I'm in present with someone, it is very important for me to be present and not forget right in front of them. I cannot, I was talking to somebody about this recently, that all of my life I have seen people not want to know the truth right in front of me and deciding to all of a sudden not know the truth, to go right up against fear, hatred, sadness, hopelessness, depression, sorrow, anger, whatever, and just choose to not know. I'm looking at someone's eyes and I see the life disappear. The glance turned to the side. I can't look you in the eyes. I'm not here. This isn't happening. That is not something I'm willing to forget. Being in the present, I mean, yeah, I watch TV and play video games, listen to music, read a book, get off, essentially pleasure myself in various ways, yeah. If I can be present while doing it, that's okay. It's okay to inebriate yourself, I suppose. Is it helping you? What's it doing? Is it just making you be able to glide over and not take responsibility for your actions, to not be accountable? I am witnessing someone in my life having their karma come to fruition in a painful way. They do not want to accept that their actions have caused this. And so they don't. They just erase all of their actions from their memory bank. And I've told other people that this is not the worst actions. I mean, there's a lot of people I've talked to who have had horrible things done to them. And even then I'll be like, yeah, but he didn't like rape you and give you an incurable disease. I mean, he didn't beat you to death or within an inch of your death or make you blind or beat you so that you couldn't walk anymore. I mean, it's emotional abuse. I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad as like a lot of people have it. Still, trauma is not really quantifiable. You're traumatized, you're traumatized. So it's not about diminishing the horror of the experience, but it is useful to know that even something small can be just as bad as something big. But regardless if it's big or small, holding on to it your whole life as a reason to be wounded, injured, helpless, damaged, whatever, isn't useful. I mean, it's useful if you want to be a victim. It's not useful if you want to be free. Holding on to tension because you're not willing to feel it, I mean, it's useful so you don't have to feel the pain, but it's not useful if you want to be free. Be in a body that's all bound up and miserable all the time. Saying, oh, life isn't worth living if I can't eat my potato chips and white bread and ice cream and drink Coca-Cola. Life just isn't worth living if I can't smoke cigarettes. Fuck that, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes. Okay. If you can, it's useful for you to take your insulin and be diabetic and, not be able to breathe walking up the stairs, but not useful if you want to be free. And we're all on different trips here, and we're all living in different realities. So you can have whatever trip you want. You can be in whatever reality you want. I heard some conservative background noise that was coming out of a conservative that I know, out of his phone. And they were talking about freedom. Freedoms were being taken away. Nobody can take away your freedom. If you know how to be free, nobody can take away your freedom. They can put you in fucking jail and you can still be free. You can have all the money and all the power in the world, as our last president showed us, and you can still be in prison. Prison of greed, hatred, ignorance, stupidness, petty bullshit. Still be in prison. Constantly being dissatisfied with having all the money and all the fucking power in the world, all the attention. Still in prison. So, I don't know. I think that's just all I wanted to say. It was, I'm just witnessing such damage from the, forget about it. It's okay to feel shame about the horrible shit we've done. We've all done horrible shit. We've all disappeared at important moments and hurt someone, including ourselves. And if we can remember that and find a way to forgive it, have compassion with it, be okay with it, but be able to recall it with integrity, then we don't have gigantic holes in our heart and mind that we're not allowed to be in. Every time you create a willful, ignorant hole, you can't use it anymore. If your body is a bound mass of tension from fear, anger, hatred, you can't be in it. You have to watch TV or get drunk. You just have to, because you can't just feel your body. If you know what peace, happiness, unconditional love, freedom feels like, you get a taste remembering what they feel like, then any amount of being right, views, beliefs that get in the way of that are not worth it. You can let go of it. You can just be like, hey, it's not important. It's not important if it's going to make me miserable or people I love miserable, or just really, if you're making anybody miserable, you're making yourself miserable. So for this, I wish for us that we can be free of the need to disappear and cut holes in ourselves and be in prison. For this, I wish that we can be free and happy and peaceful and free and happy and peaceful and loving and kind, compassionate. And at this, I will say goodnight. I'm gonna go brush my teeth and go to sleep. I love you.